Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Long Gone Loser Rock Show. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. It's only a quick one, but it's a story about how I wound up with one of the weirdest records in my collection. Let's get into it. A while ago now, and it's got to be longer than 10 years, I watched this documentary on vinyl on YouTube by a guy called Alan Zweig. Zweig? I don't know how to pronounce his name properly, and I do apologize, Alan. He put up this documentary about vinyl collectors, and he's also looking for a particular record. And this record is by the Louvin brothers, and it's called Satan is Real. So we follow Alan on his trek around as he talks to vinyl collectors, and it's pretty funny, although I don't think it's supposed to be funny, but you can't stop laughing at it anyway. It's a good documentary. I really highly recommend you watch this. I will put a link to it because it's on YouTube. I'll put a link to it below so that after this is finished, you can go watch it. We follow Alan around and he talks to some interesting people. There's this one guy, I remember him saying something like, there's only 3 bands in existence, or so 5 bands in existence that start with the letter Q.
You can name a letter and I can tell you how many bands start with that letter. Q, there's only 4.
Okay, who are they?
Okay, you understand me?
Yeah, okay.
S is 1,246. Oh, yeah.
It's just funny, like, there's moments like that in it that you'll just laugh at and enjoy it because it is a really enjoyable documentary, and I really hope you do sit down and watch it because, yeah, if you're a vinyl junkie or a vinyl nerd, this documentary would definitely appeal to you. But the reason we're here is that I watched that documentary a lot, and so when I was in the USA in 2014, I went to Nashville, and while I was in Nashville, I went to a place called Ernest Tubbs Record Store. Now, it's a country music store, obviously being in Nashville. I walked in and I saw the Satan is Real album on the wall and it was for sale. And I was immediately like, I'm going to buy this. And it was a reissue by Light in the Attic. And it was like $20 or something like that, $22. But immediately I was drawn to it because I'd followed Alan on his trek around trying to find a copy of this. And, you know, he's looking for an original press, I guess. I'm not. I was looking for a copy of it so I could listen to it because an album called Satan is Real with that record cover, why would you not want to listen to this record? Look at that album cover. That is one of the funniest album covers I've ever seen. And it's called Satan is Real. And apparently the Louvin brothers were really religious. So this album cover is just even funnier. And apparently one of them ended up catching on fire or something like that. They almost burned because of these flames were actually real. And they're like standing there. But look at the facial expressions on them. That is so funny. Here we go. There's the back cover there. And it comes with like an interview, like a downloadable interview that you can listen to. And there is the gatefold. But this album, I had to buy it purely because of the cover. I got it home, I put it on, and I did not know what to expect. I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into. But the cover sold me. I had to have it. Not only did I buy the record, I also bought the book. They also had the t-shirt, but I didn't buy the t-shirt. I probably should have. I could have done the whole trio. This would have looked really cool if I had the shirt on to go with it. But anyway, there is the book. But we're talking about this LP. So, this LP is a trip. Like, I put it on and it is just weird. In a, like, really interesting way. I can see why Jello Biafra likes this record. If you're familiar with Jello Biafra's record collection, he likes a lot of weird stuff and unusual stuff and unique stuff and stuff that's just a little bit different. And the Louvin brothers are definitely different. When I took this to the counter, the guy said to me, he goes, "Oh, we've got the other one there. I actually think the other one's better." And I was just like, this one's called Satan is Real. That's why I want it. And so the guy was like, okay then. So I didn't need to buy any other Louvin records. I needed this one for the record cover alone. This album is just strange. The first song is called Satan is Real, and when you start hearing going Satan is Real, you'll start going, what the hell is going on? There's all this gospel stuff in there and like this like Bible preaching stuff in there. It is a really, really strange record. Let's go through the song title, shall we? Side 1, we've got Satan is Real, There's a Higher Power, The Christian Life, The River of Jordan, The Kneeling Drunkard's Plea, Are you afraid to die? He can be found, dying from home and lost. The drunkard's doom, Satan's jeweled crown. The angels rejoiced last night. I'm ready to go home. Some of these song titles actually sound like they could have been Venom songs. But alas, they are not. They're the Louvin brothers. And apparently Satan is real. This album is weird. It is strange. I highly recommend you check it out. Just give a listen to it. It is so different to anything else you've probably ever heard. It's one to put on at parties. Like, you got people coming over and they're like, oh, put on some cool music. Put on this and shock them all. Because if they're drunk or high or whatever and they start hearing Satan is real, they're probably going to start believing it. So there we go, my friends. That is one of the weirdest records that I have in my collection, and I'm glad that I bought it. I do not regret this decision at all. It's a really interesting listen. I'm not a religious person at all. This will go down as one of the greatest record covers in history. Like, seriously. How is that not one of the greatest record covers in history? Where do you rate the Louvin brothers' Satan is Real? Come on, leave a comment. What is it that you love about this album or dislike about this album or anything? Have you even heard it? But I'm hoping that the album cover did to you what it did to me, and that is make me want to listen to it. Very interesting stuff. It's not going to be for everybody. Hell, it probably isn't really for me, but I couldn't stop myself from buying it to see what the hoo-ha was about in this documentary. Why did he want to find Satan is Real by the Louvin brothers? Why was it like the holy grail that he needed? And, you know, when you do see him find it and he's holding it in his hands and the look on his face is like, finally, here it is. That made me just think like, man, I'm on your side, because I know what that feels like to find a record that you've been looking for your entire life. And then when you find it and holding it in your hand, it's just like, wow. So yeah, I'm with you, Alan Zweig. I know what it is that you are going through, and I'm here for it. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Long Gone Loser Rock Show. Go out and buy some records. Go try listening to something weird. There is a book called The Incredibly Strange Music Book, Volume 1 and 2. Dive into those books and yeah, just start pulling out random stuff and listening to it online. Thankfully, a lot of this stuff is on YouTube. People have been uploading all these records. You can listen to them there. It's awesome. Do a deep dive. You never know. You might find something that you actually enjoy. Take care, guys. Look after yourselves. Take care of each other. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.